Hey, good evening. Trust here. How is everyone doing? I hope you're doing okay. Let me make sure I'm looking the right way. It's taking me some time to set this up. I think I might need to go back to my formal location and stop talking about this. But yes, how's everyone doing? Hope we're still surviving. It's quite warm. Hope you're having a good week. And I hope you can hear me okay. If it's your first time here, welcome. My name is Trust. I am a budget coach to professional women looking to keep hold of more of their money, and I'm usually live on Wednesdays at 8:30, talking through a money subject, answering a question, just sharing something, and that's why I come on here. So if it's your first time here, say hi. If you're watching it live, say hi as well. If you catch up on replay, comment replay, so I know that you're catching it up later. And if you find it on YouTube, you know what to do. Comment and subscribe as well. So I hope everyone's doing well. Last week, we started a two-part series on money traps to avoid. So last week, we did part 1. We went over 5 of them. If you haven't seen that, after this, go ahead and catch up on that as well. And today, we're going to run through the second half of that. So the second 5. Which is part 2. So if you've got some pen and paper ready to take some notes, if you think of someone that you feel this would be useful for, send it to them. Absolutely costs nothing. Share it with them. I can see some of you on here as well. Say hi. I probably won't see it at the time because I realized last week that I don't see comments as they come on. I have to go back and catch up on them later, but still put them anyway, and I'll come back to you later. Excellent. So the second half, I'm going to jump in because we're a few minutes in now. Stop waffling. Okay, so number 6, money trap to avoid. Number 6. So the sixth one I want to go over is investing in degrees without a plan, without a strategy. Now, just to clarify, these are money traps that on the whole, like on the grand scheme of things, these are the sort of things that trip people up. Now, not all of them are going to apply to you, but it's sort of a general list that looking at a wide population of people, these are some of the things that have felt like traps for them, that they feel like if they could go back, they would do it differently or not even do it at all. So investing in degrees without a strategy. Now, if you know me, in my personal life, you would know that I'm a huge fan of education. But the older I get, the more I realize that it's not just about that standard sitting in a classroom. It's not just about the formal thing. And if you want to, as an adult, because I am talking to professional women, so these are women who are already in a career, and if you're deciding to go back and get a second degree, I would say make sure you have a strategy. You know why you want to do it, not just for the sake of it, but that it actually aligns with where you want to go. And you can see clearly how that's going to help your career prospects, because otherwise, for some people, it has ended up being just a money suck and they come out of it with debt, but not really seeing how that's going to improve their career prospects. So we don't want to fall into that. By all means study, but make sure you have a strategy for how you plan to use it and see clearly how it's going to improve things for you before you go ahead with that. Money trap number 7. I feel like a lot of us know this one, but it's easy to get sucked in. So for example, with what happened just on Monday, when shops reopen. So money trap number 7 is a desire to keep up appearances. We all know this, but somehow a lot of us either get sucked into it or don't realize it's happening. We want to be perceived a certain way. And just that striving, it could be with friends, with family. It's that old saying of getting into debt to buy things that you don't need to impress people you don't like, or even if it's people you like. That desire to keep up appearances, to be in a certain club. If you have quote unquote friends that need you to look a certain way or have a certain type of things for you to fit in, I would say maybe you need to reassess and think about where your priorities are, especially if you're someone who cares about where they're going financially and cares about their financial future. What you need around you, in my opinion, and not people who are just not about the appearances, but looking into this stuff, the thing of substance. So if it falls within your income and you're happy to do it, that's one thing. If you're doing it to keep up appearances, then that's something that a lot of people have found to be a trap. And if they could go back and redo it, they'll do things completely differently. I hope that makes sense. Okay, the next one is sort of in a similar vein, money trap, something that trips people up. I'm gonna get quite specific and talk about cars. You know, the number of people that fall into this trap, getting a brand new car, it's one of those things that is hardly ever a wise financial decision, especially if you're doing it in debt. Now, I'm going to put caveats here. There are people who have cars that they can write off within their business. I know of people where their businesses literally depend on them showing up a certain way to attract the kind of clients that they want to attract, and things like that can be written off as part of business expenses. That is probably the only exception that I have seen where it's been a beneficial thing for people. But you know, the everyday person, usually a brand new car is hardly ever a decision people sit back and go, yeah, this was a good thing to get into debt for. But it does happen. Okay, skipping right along. This one is one of my, well, it's not one of my, it's the main thing that I talk about here. Money trap being not having or not having the habit of creating spending plans, a budget, which is what I talk about. People who are not in the habit of having a spending plan, budgets, whatever you want to call it, sort of on a regular basis, some place where they can see what they have coming in, what they have going out, and making sure that everything adds up. It's difficult. It's difficult in the long term. And what you class as being okay could be different. But if you find yourself going further and further into debt, even though compared to when you first got into the workforce, you are making more money, which would be the case for a lot of people, then there's something that's not quite adding up. You're not supposed to be making more, but going into more debt. And usually a lot of the time that starts with not having a spending plan, and not just having it, but actually sticking to it. That is a trap that people fall into and could really solve a lot of problems, which is why I love what I do. Getting people started, laying the foundations of how do I create my very first spending plan, doing it properly in a way that's personalized and work for you and actually going to serve what you want it to do. It's why I love it, because I feel like that is quite foundational. If you have that right, everything else just sort of falls into place because you can then fit things around it. So it's a no-brainer. Literally, not having some sort of plan for your money is a trap that the people that find themselves in that situation, the trajectory in the long term, it's a struggle. Okay, and then money trap number 10. So the last one here. This one is sort of a more specific one, but property. Property is something that a lot of people get a nasty surprise off of. It's great to want to own property and get into them, but the trap of not having a property, a house, flat, whatever you're getting, surveyed properly to make sure that there's not going to be any surprises further down the line. We have people, I mean, there's lots of TV shows. I think maybe 4-6 years ago, I spend so much time watching sort of house shows and people buying houses and things like that. And the number of times that you have people save up money, really work hard to put money together to buy a property that they haven't looked at properly, and then it just becomes this hole, that this bottomless pit, paying money into it, thousands and thousands of pounds, and it's just one problem after the next. And a lot of that can be avoided by making sure the property is surveyed properly and everything that needs fixing, gets highlighted, and so you know what you're getting into and you're not getting all of these surprises. And it's so painful when after thousands and thousands of pounds go into it and then you realize, you know what, I can't keep this up, and then you have to leave. It's not great, and I don't want that for you guys. So that was money trap number 10 I have on my list. So I'm not going to try and recap. If you've just joined, go back and watch it. Like I said, if you know of anyone who you think this would be useful for, please share it with them. It absolutely costs nothing. Talking about point number 9, the spending plan. Like I said, that's why I love what I do, laying those foundations in place. If you're someone that you feel like, yes, I could really do with support with knowing how to get that first plan in place done for you, and laying those foundations so that you can go ahead and do it for yourself. The thing with skills is usually once you learn how to do something and you practice it, it's yours for life. No one can take that from you. So if that's something you think, right, I would love to get those foundations, message me, book a call. That's where it all starts. It all starts with asking to book a call with me, and we'll sit down and look at where you're at, what your goals are, and decide whether it's something that I can support you with. And, if you're at that point, but, it doesn't hurt to ask to book a call and just have a chat and see if we can work together and if I can support you with that. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Have a great rest of the week, everyone. I want to hear your thoughts, anything else you would add to that list. If you feel a bit shy about sharing maybe a trap or a mistake you've made, message me privately. Let's all learn from each other. Okay, I will speak to you next week. Take care.